And we're hi, you're still on Today Show. I'm so excited. Everything's happening. Yeah, no, life is exciting here in Owatonna Today Show because we have a great show coming up for you. So stick with us. We do thank you so much for joining us right here on the Owatonna Today Show. The nice thing is that you can find us 6 days a week right here on Charter Channel 8 several times throughout the day. But if for some reason you're out of town or taking a nap or whatever works for you, you can always find us on the internet. We are on YouTube as well as blip.tv and on Facebook. And when the new episode comes around, Leanne uploads that and it goes right to your news feed. So it's a great way for you to stay connected with what's going on in your community. And we are always looking for great ideas of stories to put on the air, people to talk to about what's going on in the community. If you have an idea, all you got to do is send us an email at owatonnatoday@charter.net, or you can give Leanne all to call at 390-5751 and let us see what's going on in your life, in your community, and maybe we can share that with some other people and get them interested as well. Do stay with us as we are talking with the Chamber and Tanya Paley right here on the Owatonna Today Show. We'll be right back.
I'm Dan Branstead of Carlson Branstead and Company, Certified Public Accountants. We support the Owatonna Today Show.
Owatonna Public Utilities, real people, real reliable, real progress. Making life a little easier day after day, taking pride in our community, listening to what you say, a voice you can talk to. We're growing with you in mind in everything we do. Owatonna Public Utilities.
Greetings, I'm Laura Ressler, Director of the Steele County Historical Society, and I welcome you to our History Center. We invite you to join in all our activities events where we honor the past and look towards the future.
And we're back with the Owatonna Today Show. I have as my guest this morning, our first one is Jennifer Libby. Hi, Jennifer.
Good morning.
How are you?
Fabulous.
Good.
How are you?
Good. You survived the cold snap we had?
I'm just in denial. That's working for me.
I have people tell me sometimes I look young. I say it's because the skin freezes. It's because I live in Minnesota. It just freezes it, so it never changes.
It's a great perspective.
Yeah. Jennifer, tell me a little bit about yourself.
Well, thanks for asking. I've been in the Owatonna community for 14 years now. My family and I moved here to take a new job, and I told my realtor, and she loves to remind me of this, that I was going to be here for 2 or 3 years. And 14 years later, I can't imagine living anywhere else. So prior to this role, I was in business for 22 years in human resources, 20 years in manufacturing and 2 in healthcare. And then recently was very fortunate to be offered this role as the president of the Chamber in July.
Mm-hmm. Let's talk a little bit about the Chamber itself.
Sure.
What is the role of the Chamber in the community?
The role of the Chamber in the community is really to be a business that represents businesses. So we have 6 lines of business, and so we represent our members and our community in many different ways. So we have membership as a focus. Obviously, how do we help represent our businesses to the local level, to the state level, to the national level, and then also economic development, obviously a key point. And we are so fortunate to have such a robust economic climate here in Owatonna. So I always think it's critical for us to remember it's not just about getting new development into the community, but also supporting the businesses here, because 80% of our growth comes from businesses that already exist here. So we've seen evidence of that through a lot of reinvestment in the community this past year, with ViraCon and with a number of other great community groups. In addition to that, we represent the business through advocacy. So the new session is starting at the end of February, and everybody's got an idea of what we're going to be talking about, minimum wage and a lot of different things like that. But it is our role to help advocate a business perspective at that level, simply because a lot of our businesses don't have full-time staff that can lobby. They have a business to run, and so our role is to help advocate for positive representation, again, at the local, state, and national level. In addition to that, we focus on tourism and here in Owatonna, and so we've been fortunate to see a lot of activity, especially last year with the senior games, and it's hard to believe in this weather today, but Corky's softball tournament is not that far away. So we're really excited about the involvement that we've seen, and it's really fun. I talked to a former boss of mine, and she said that they were just in Owatonna to tour some of our attractions, the bank and some different things. So it's really fun to see that connection as well. So a lot going on in the tourism and attraction area as well. And then general community, some things like the holiday parade or the holiday train, lighting of lights, things that bring our community together. And one of the things that's really been exciting for me to see is that Owatonna is extremely unique, and granted, I'm biased, but we have got groups that come together just to kind of do what's right and make this an amazing place to live. So we try to participate and support that as well. Downtown is a key part of that, and then just some general activities as well. And then finally, from a model chamber perspective, we are one of 2 chambers in the entire state of Minnesota that's 5-star accredited. So we really try to focus on operational excellence. And again, a business representing businesses, we need to make sure we run our business effectively and efficiently.
So it's so fascinating that you talked about this, because most of us who maybe aren't business owners think it's just tourism that the chamber does, but there's so much more to it that's involved and can help even small businesses become more successful.
Exactly, and I think it's a chamber perspective is kind of a nebulous concept for a lot of us in the community, and well, hopefully not for me, but
I would hope not.
But it's really interesting to see, what does a chamber do? And as I was going through the interview process, it was fascinating for me to get a board perspective, and we talked a lot about economic development, we talked a lot about advocacy, and we talked a lot about tourism as well. So there's a really interesting balance with that. And one thing that was interesting, coming into a new role, we always ask for reports on everything, right?
So you can understand.
Right. And one of the things that really struck me is that 80% of our 575 members have 10 employees or less. 80%. So that says to me a lot that we need to be that business resource for people. We may not have the answers, we may not have the resource, but our goal is to connect people. And that's one of the biggest goals I see of my role, is to help connect people. If we don't have the answer, who can we get people to get the answer?
Well, you talked a lot about some of the successes we had in 2013, but 2014's here.
Yes.
So what are we looking forward to from the chamber, and what's coming up in this next year?
Well, it's a very exciting year. Again, coming off 2013 is exciting, and we've got a wonderful annual report that tells about what we did, but it's really important, to your point, to talk about, okay, what are we going to do now? So right now we're in the process of finalizing our strategic plan with our board of directors. And again, we're focusing on things like workforce development. We're focusing on things like economic development. Again, not just recruiting new, but expanding. And there was a piece that was distributed in the People's Press called it was about economic development last year and what has happened, and we've seen a lot of growth. We've seen Andiamo's, we've seen Aldi, we've seen other things. Cashwise is reinvesting, different things like that. So that was a great piece to say what's going on. What's really fun is if you talk to Troy Klecker in community development at the city, he'll talk about all of the plans that we've already got in the agenda. And so I'm fortunate to work in a group called Owatonna Partners for Economic Development with Troy, and also the mayor and Chris Busey from the city and the county and the mayor and the incubator. And we talk about what's coming up, and we partner together. And we have got a lot coming up for 2014. So that's really exciting to see that reinvestment and that new infusion too. Beyond that, we're preparing for the session, the legislative session, starting, I think it's February 26th.
Okay.
And so we're really excited to talk about how can we influence? Last year there was a lot of change in kind of the rhythm of the legislature, and so we're figuring out how we adapt to that and how we still are able to kind of influence.
Get your voice heard. Yeah.
Exactly.
Owatonna's voice heard.
Right.
Yeah.
Get our voice heard. And so another thing, I'm glad you brought that up, that we've gotten involved in this year is a group called Greater Minnesota Partnership. So we've all seen a lot going on in the metro with economic development dollars and light rail, and those things are all very important. Don't want to take anything away from that. But this Greater Minnesota Partnership is a group that we recently got involved with to represent Greater Minnesota, to make sure that our voice is heard at the legislature, to say we need funding. And another thing that was exciting in 2013 is we were heard on Highway 14, the Highway 14 partnership led by Les Abrams, and the community supported the businesses. And we got a large chunk of money in the allocation for corridors for commerce that we didn't think we were going to get. And so it was really that grassroots effort from this community getting together and taking care of that.
Well, and it's so important for people to understand that they can be heard, but I love what you're talking about all these different, the mayor and yourself and the incubator coming together, not trying to reinvent your own wheels, but working together to make the community a little bit more effective. And I think another important part is, I would love for you to talk a little bit about how are you helping current membership a little bit more, because you talked about how I think sometimes organizations get let's get new members, let's get new members. They kind of ignore everybody else they already have because they already conquered them. Right. Tell me a little bit more about what you can do for membership, that people who are there right now who maybe do have 10 employees, help walk in if they don't even know what they need. What can they do?
Right, and I love that you brought that point up. Thank you, because one of my favorite commercials ever was some with a telecom, and they were romancing and they were putting a lot of efforts into getting that new customer and really ignoring, and that's the last thing we want to have happen. So you asked what's coming in 2014. We've got the gala that I'd love to talk about, but the other thing I'm really excited about is the fact that we have a full staff. And one of those newest staff additions is Craig Thompson, our membership manager. And so what Craig is doing is he's holding reorientation sessions for our members. Okay. So come on into the chamber. We have set times. Of course, we don't have to wait for those set dates, and we've got those available on the website too, but we've got one coming up in February to say these are all the tools at your disposal. But people are so busy, especially in smaller organizations running their businesses. So to your point, people can come in and say, I'm looking for this, or I'm looking for that. Where do I go for that? We can help. We can sit down and spend some time with them and go over some of the tools. For example, most people don't know we offer free postings for jobs on the chamber website. It's not something that's taken advantage of a lot. So we need to do a better job at the chamber, in my perspective, of promoting that. And so we're really excited about that in terms of being that business resource center for our members. So a lot of effort in terms of reorientation and getting together. We're also excited to offer a new but old benefit called Business Before Hours. And so we've got that coming up in February. And the first one is coming up, and we're being sponsored by Fountain Centers. And so it's an opportunity to get together, maybe at a different time of the day. Maybe business after hours doesn't work in your schedule, but business before hours does. And so we're excited to reintroduce that. And again, Craig is spearheading that. So
what is that? Is that opportunity to know about the business that's hosting it, or what is it what's the purpose?
The purpose is to get together and to talk about exactly the sponsor a little bit, but then also the people who attend, to give them an opportunity to talk a little bit about their businesses. One of the things that people do a lot, they'll call into the chamber and say, I need this service. And who is a chamber member, and then they like to support that. And so there's so much rich industry and resources available within our membership. It's just a great opportunity to get together and educate ourselves and each other a little bit more about that.
And contacting the chamber is a great way to do that. So thank you so much for your time, Jennifer. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
And congratulations on the job and all the fun stuff you have coming up in the next year. It's exciting.
Thank you.
Please stay with us. We will be right back.
When using a fire extinguisher, we suggest using the pass system. Pull the pin at the top of the extinguisher that keeps the handle from being accidentally pressed. Aim the nozzle toward the base of the fire. Squeeze the handle to discharge the extinguisher. If you release the handle, the discharge will stop. Sweep the nozzle back and forth at the base of the fire. After the fire appears to be out, watch it carefully since it may reignite. If you have the slightest doubt about whether or not to fight the fire, get out and close the door behind you. This has been a safety message from the Owatonna Fire Department.
Did you know that it is illegal in the city of Owatonna to host or allow a gathering where minors will be consuming alcoholic beverages on your property or in your residence? Did you know that it is illegal to provide minors with alcohol unless they are your own kids in your own home? Underage drinking leads to increased risk of future chemical dependency, engaging in more serious criminal activity, and becoming a victim of a crime. Please help keep our kids and our community safe by not encouraging, hosting, or allowing underage drinking. This is a message from the Owatonna Police Department and the Safe and Drug-Free Coalition of Steele County.
Hello, my name is Katie Marshall. A year ago, my family and I became homeless. We were scared and alone. Today, with the help of Steele County Transitional Housing and generous donors like you, my family and I are safely housed. I am working, going to college, paying my rent on time. My children have a warm bed to sleep in every night. My family and I are so grateful for this second chance. Please help others in need by donating to transitional housing today. Everyone deserves a safe place to live.
Hi, I'm Glenn Mager.
And I'm Tim Thomas of the Brick Mager Funeral Home, and we're proud to serve the Medford and Owatonna areas with cremation and traditional funeral services.
And we're proud to be a part of the Owatonna Today Show.
United Way of Steele County is all about changing lives,
reaching out a hand,
painting a brighter tomorrow,
creating opportunities,
inspiring and regaining hope,
navigating obstacles.
Please join us and all Jostens employees by giving generously, advocating for a better quality of life, and volunteering your time to a partner agency. We all win when we
live united.
And we're back with the Owatonna Today Show. I have in the studio with me Tanya Paley. Good morning.
Good morning, Shelley.
It's a pleasure to have you again here as one of my favorite people.
Thank you. I love coming on the show.
Well, I just love your passion for what we're talking about with the Safe and Drug-Free Coalition. Your desire just to educate, get parents talking, get kids talking. It's just such an important thing to not hide what's going on in the community.
Well, thanks, Shelley.
Yeah,
I mean, it is an important issue, and actually maybe next time we can talk, we got our survey data back, and we're starting to analyze it, so we'll be able to tell you a little bit more about trends and what's happening in our community with youth use. Lots of good news and some news we, should pay attention to. So that's a little teaser for next time.
Sweet, can't wait. Well, and it's so funny because you have so many facets that you're working with in the Safe and Drug-Free. You don't just have one method of working. You actually have all sorts, and you've got some interesting things coming up for everybody.
We do, actually. So, we are a community coalition, and we are based right here in Steele County, just to remind everybody. And so we do want to work on things that Steele County cares about, and maybe there are some ways in which we're different than the rest of the state. But we are also part of a consortium. I have gotten to know the other coalitions in the state and the other organizations that are working on prevention for youth. And there's some really good stuff going on that we in Steele County, our coalition, is a part of. And I'm really excited about that. So one of the things coming up in February 13th, there is a statewide meeting at the Mall of America, and we're bringing in somebody named Kevin Sabet, and he has become a national speaker on this issue of marijuana and legalization, and just kind of trying to provide at least that more scientific, like what do we know about marijuana, and especially what do we know about marijuana in youth, and trying to keep the conversation a little more sane, a little more...
We were talking about this. I saw something on Facebook that said all these people died, and it was a hoax. And so, but if you just read that one article, of course, that goes one way, and then, of course, other people saying, well, there's nothing wrong with it. But there can be some side effects that really affect you. So just really understanding what is behind it and what it really means, I think, is important.
Yep. So I know, for example, we had a big conference call yesterday about this meeting, and those of us that are working on it. And we were talking about what Kevin is going to be sharing. And so, for example, he's going to talk about marijuana as medicine. What do we know about marijuana as medicine, right? What do we know about marijuana and safety? So we were talking about, could somebody die from marijuana use? Not directly, like they're not going to have a heart attack, but they sure could do stupid things under the influence of marijuana. And one of the things that we know are starting to see, and Colorado and Washington we're going to keep an eye on those states, traffic accidents. That driving under the influence of marijuana, DUIM. What do we know about that? And, what kinds of things do we need to pay attention to? So this is an event that will be open to, we think that certainly teachers, law enforcement, people who work in youth organizations, pastors, parents. Lots of people might be interested in hearing this speaker.
And it's open to everyone.
It will be open to everyone. There will be a small charge, but I think the coalition is going to try and pick that up for folks from Steele County that want to go. So it is in the afternoon. I believe we're looking at about 1:30 to 4 in the afternoon on February 13th for the event. And so we're going to start taking a list of people that would like to register, that would like to be able to go. So if you are interested, I know my contact information will be coming up at the end of the segment here, or maybe right now.
Yeah, she's good. She's really good. She's on the ball.
You can contact me right away. We'll get you on the list and get you further details. But I wanted folks to know, too, in Steele County that we're not in this alone. We're not. What we're doing is not just isolated to Steele County. We're really trying to pay attention to what's happening in our region. We've been talking with the folks in Faribault and Albert Lee about what are they doing.
Well,
in
it makes
terms of
sense because kids are mobile. They don't just stay in our one town. They all have cars and things, and so just to be able to make sure everybody sees what same trends, I think is very, very smart.
Yeah. Yep, they're mobile, so they have friends in other communities. They hear things. Certainly, information goes like at the speed of lightning, and even hoaxes go at the speed of lightning.
It's true.
So they are certainly paying attention to the messages that are out there about marijuana, and I think that's one of the things that our coalition and also this statewide organization is saying. What are those messages? What are those messages that we want people to hear? What are those messages that maybe we even didn't realize until we started paying attention to what we know about marijuana? So again, it's an idea of an honest conversation about marijuana and youth. What do we know? What does the science tell us? One of the things our coalition has really been focused on, not just about marijuana, is this evidence-based idea, this idea of starting with what works, what do we know, what can we do, what are the messages that resonate, what's the real truth?
Yeah. Well, and by having these coalitions, you can get that information. You can't. It's sometimes so hard when you're just all by yourself to find out what is being said out there, what is being spread around.
Sure.
To be able to hear those messages from other people is very important.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. So, marijuana has really been in the news lately, especially with the legalization, the recreational legalization of marijuana out in the West in Colorado, and Washington is eventually going to come online too. I was, like everybody else, reading the articles about people standing in line like overnight to get that legal marijuana.
Well, and I personally really feel like it's a little bit of a misleading to call it recreational use, because again, it is something that is mood and mind altering, and it's like alcohol, and they make it sound like it's something a little bit more frivolous, and that kind of worries me a little bit, the way that's being handled, is that people are maybe not thinking, this will be fine, I can drive with this, it's recreational. That's what I'm worried about a little bit.
Yep, I think it's fair to be worried about that. And again, as I said, we are trying to focus in on the facts. What do we know about people driving with marijuana? Well, sometimes going slowly is just as bad as going fast, especially if you're on the highway.
Yes.
And what do we? And our coalition is primarily interested in youth, and so again, what do we know about kids that smoke marijuana? What happens in their brain? What happens to their grades and their motivation?
It's scientifically based.
Yes, exactly. So that's one of our big upcoming events, and again, that's February 13th.
And so anyone who wants to go can be a part of that.
Absolutely,
awesome.
Yes.
Good. What else are you guys up to?
Well, we are now kind of well into this year, and we're working on, as I said, I think the next big thing other than that is really sharing the data on the surveys that students took.
So these are students here in Steele County, blind survey, no names put on it, of course.
Correct.
And so what kind of questions were asked on the survey this year?
Well, this survey is called the Minnesota Student Survey, and they take it at school, and we always thank the schools for participating in that. And this survey asked them not just the kinds of things that our coalition is interested in, but just a whole range of different things having to do with, how do you feel at school? Do you feel safe? Do you feel like adults care about you? Things about their health and exercise. And then it also asks them questions that we're looking at, which is, alcohol use, prescription drug use, marijuana, and tobacco use. And so we kind of look at those and we see what those trends are looking like, and also what Owatonna looks like versus Medford or Blooming Prairie, and what are the things that we really want to hone in on. Again, evidence-based.
Yeah.
What is the data, and then what do we as a community want to work on?
I'm looking forward to those results, because I know that one of them that you come with this last year with us was talking about who is the reverse side of it, the positive side.
Who isn't?
Yes, exactly. And so I look forward to seeing that. I want to really thank you so much for your time today.
Thanks,
we always
Shelley.
love having you. I look forward to hearing the results of these next month when we get you in here. That'd be awesome. So
sounds great.
Until then, stay warm.
You too.
Okay, we will be right back with the Owatonna Today Show. Please stay with us.
Hi, I'm Amy Martinez.
And I'm Adam Martinez, owners of Snap Fitness in Owatonna.
Snap Fitness is a fast, convenient, and affordable fitness center, and we're proud supporters of the Owatonna Today Show.
Everyone deserves opportunities to have a good life, a quality education that leads to a stable job, enough income to support a family through retirement, and good health. But the reality is, many children fall behind, many families are struggling, and many others are in poor health. United Way's goal is to find long-term solutions. Thanks to a grant from the Otto Bremer Foundation, we're hosting community conversations this year to address these issues. If you'd like to join us, please call our office.
Hi, this is Barry Gillespie, president of ERA Gillespie Real Estate, where our pledge is to save you money, save you time, and simplify your life. And we're proud supporters of the Owatonna Today Show.
And a quick look at your community announcements is going to wrap up today's show. The Steele County Historical Society is pleased to announce its children's programming for this Thursday at 10:15 and 6:30 at the History Center. The History Detectives are meeting at 10:15, talking about educational journey through the legends and lores of Minnesota, with the Time Travelers meeting at 6:30. They're going to learn about the amazing state Minnesota with storytelling, activities, and much more. These free children's programs are offered the first Thursday of each month. For more information, you can call the Steele County Historical Society at 451-1420. Owatonna Hospital Blood Drive is open to community members this Friday. Area residents are invited to donate blood at the hospital from 11 to 5 p.m. There will be some American Red Cross people on site to help with that. It's going to be in conference room 1484, and volunteers from the hospital auxiliary will help with registration. If you need more information, you can call Jenna Herzog at 507-977-2778. And in the gallery at the Owatonna Arts Center, is going to be featured Ryan Sweer and Ellie Kingsbury. Ryan is a painter and Ellie is a photographer. The reception is this Sunday from 1 to 4, and you can check out some of their information. Also, coming up on Saturday, January 11th, is a Clay Basics Intro to Clay Studio for Teens. You can learn the ins and outs as well as procedures of the OAC Clay Studio, so you are ready to pursue the studio time at your own leisure. And the Music Boosters of Owatonna is presenting their 4th annual concert this Saturday at 11 at 7 p.m. at the OHS Auditorium. There's going to be Mile 5 Band as well as OHS Dinner Ensemble. There will also be, before this, a chance for you to look at some silent auction items. Again, all coming up. You can get tickets at Kottke or any board member. Thanks so much for joining us today. It was a pleasure. We will see you on Friday. Have a good day.